Welcome to the Unscripted Journey podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia Schoen. Around here, we believe in living life on purpose, not by permission. Each week, we'll talk real growth, fresh starts, and bold steps to create a life that's true to you. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's take this journey together. Welcome back to the Unscripted Journey. My friend, today I have something that I want to really talk about because I was impacted by this a couple of weeks ago. So today we are going to be talking about resilience. And let me tell you something. If you feel like you don't have a resilient spirit, a fighting spirit in you, by the end of this podcast, I'm going to tell you how you can. This came about actually when my husband and I were at the winery a couple of weeks ago. It was a beautiful day, but there were bees everywhere. Now, I'm in Connecticut. I don't know where you are listening from, but I will tell you this year we have had bees after bees everywhere at the parks, in buildings, on the ground, in the grass, in siding, in houses, in roofs. Everywhere you go, there's bees. It's been a big year this summer for bees everywhere. Pest control is keeping quite busy wherever they are. And I was finishing my glass of wine, but a bee kept coming around, and I'm shooing it away, and it landed on my rim, and I would shoo it away, and it landed on my rim again. I was finally finished with my glass of wine, and I set the glass down, and there came the bee, landed right on the rim. I was annoyed at this point. I'm not going to lie. I was annoyed. So I tipped the glass over, and the bee was inside, and then I took a bunch of napkins, and I trapped it so it wouldn't come out. Let me tell you, that bee was fighting for dear life. Legs were kicking, even though there was no way out. That bee kept kicking and moving and trying to make a way out of that glass. I will tell you, it was trapped in there for about 30 minutes in the glass, and I kept looking to see where's the bee. There it was. It wasn't moving, but it wasn't moving, making its way out of the glass, but it was definitely still moving and still kicking. So for 30 minutes, that thing is going, and I really, really was shocked. Finally, on our way out, I told my husband to dump the napkins into a trash container, and guess what? Out flew the bee. That bee went on its merry way. After being suffocated and trapped for about 30 minutes or so, that thing came out because it fought for dear life. And I said to myself, there's a lesson in this. And my husband and I started talking about it on our way home. Maybe in your life right now, you're feeling trapped. You're kicking and screaming. You're trying like heck to get out of your situation. My friend, you need to be resilient. You need resilience in your life. Compare yourself to that bee that was fighting and did not give up. And even when I thought it was dying because it was slowing down, 15 minutes later, it was still kicking. And when we removed the napkin, that thing flew out. It had resilience. And that's something that we have to learn in life, to be resilient no matter what's coming at us. And maybe you feel like it's been 30 minutes, 3 months, 3 years, or maybe it feels like forever. It feels like 30 years, like you've been going, and there's always something trying to trap you or keeping you down from reaching your goals or living a better life. But you have to have resilience and hope, my friends, for your life and for your future. Be resilient. Don't give up. Keep fighting. You have to keep going no matter what is trying to keep you from getting out of under the stress, keeping you from getting out from under depression, keeping you from getting out from under setbacks. You have to fight. Because I feel like when you quit, you tell others that you don't have it. But even that in itself, let's forget about that for a moment. Because we're living in an unscripted life, right? That's what I'm trying to teach you, how to live unscripted, not being measured by other people's opinions. But when you quit, you also send that message to yourself. Then every setback becomes the same cycle. You end up giving up and saying, you know what, it didn't work last time. I had a setback and I tried and nothing happened and I'm just going to quit. And your mind starts to get comfortable with just letting go, letting life happen and not fighting for what you want. You know, qualities, there's some personality traits that go along with resilience and that help you become a more resilient person. Qualities like optimism and self-efficacy, having meaning, and gratitude are positively correlated with resilience. Anyone can be more resilient. Even if it doesn't feel like it comes naturally to you, you can become more resilient in your life and in your goals and in your day-to-day living. Psychological experts I've been getting more into before I have a podcast or talk about a subject. I always want to know how our mind can adapt to certain things. And is there any psychological connection to the way we live and do things? And it just so happens that psychological experts emphasize that resilience is not a fixed personality trait that you either have or don't have. In other words, you can learn to be resilient, to have resilience. But rather than being fixed, it's a dynamic process involving learned behaviors. And in life, we've talked about this, practicing gratitude or having a mind shift. And I have podcasts on both those things. I want you to go back and listen to them. But it is a dynamic process involving those learned behaviors and your thoughts and your actions. And while some people may have a natural predisposition to being resilient, it is a skill that can be strengthened and developed over time. So if you're listening to this today and you're thinking to yourself, I am not a resilient person. I crumble and crack under pressure. And once I know that I can't take it, I just give up. Please don't give up. I want you to become more resilient. And I'm going to teach you how you can be more resilient if it's not in your nature. So here's some things that you can do. We've talked about mind set shifting before. So you need to start reframing your adversity. Some people view challenges and they, like I said, they crumble under pressure. They're like, that mountain is just too high for me to climb. But I want you to see it as an opportunity for growth rather than like an insurmountable obstacle that's in your way. In other words, if you feel like you're stressed and it's a stressful event, ask yourself, what can I learn from this instead, right? Reframe what you're thinking about that adversity. Another thing you can do is maintain your perspective. Everybody's perspective is different. And it's really important that you acknowledge your feelings. I've talked about being in your feelings, acknowledging how you're feeling, and really working through that. But try to view the stress or whatever's standing in your way, view that situation in a broader, long-term context and avoid catastrophizing. Boy, say that 3 times. Avoid catastrophizing because sometimes we do see that and it's already a big deal. It's a catastrophe. Instead of us breaking it into smaller goals or smaller ways of seeing it. You know, they say, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. You can't take a whole elephant in and consume it. You have to take things in pieces, in stages. That's a way for you to maintain your perspective. Another thing is to nurture a positive self-view. Develop confidence in your ability to solve problems. Develop confidence in the way you deal things and trust your instincts, but don't trust your instinct to constantly give up. That is wrong. You have to shift that around, my friend. All right, enough feeling sorry for yourself. It's time to get up and just go for it. Remind yourself of past hardships that you've gone through and how you have successfully navigated through that and come up on top. It's possible. And write it down. Put it on your phone as your note, as a screensaver, as a reminder. Remember when you overcame this, today is a new day to overcome the next thing. Y'all, you know that I'm big on writing things down. It helps, like I say, it commits it to memory, commits it to your heart. And when you have a visual, you tend to be able to see past the impossibilities. All right. Now, you also have to cultivate healthy practices. This is so important. I've talked about practicing self-care, right? If you live a life that's constantly chaotic, you have to find a time for you, a time to reset, a time to meditate, a time to focus on yourself. How are you feeling? How are things affecting you? Are you eating well? Are you walking to get, maintain your stress levels down? Because we know that exercise is an endorphin. Like anything that you do will help make you feel better. It will help make you feel better. So practice your self-care. Help to manage your stress. Mindfulness, meditation, prayer, breathing exercises, journaling. I have talked about all of this in the past. If you don't have my reflection journal, I want you to go on Amazon and go grab that. It has a lot of prompts that help you kind of think of where you are and really help you focus on a lot of your goals and even help bring out and remembering things that you probably forgot that will help you continue living your unscripted journey. All those things, managing stress, practicing self-care, it really is helpful. And setting your goals, achievable goals. I have also discussed this in past podcasts. Small steps, small wins are better than trying to tackle a huge goal, or let's say the elephant. Instead, take the small bites, take the small steps, because when you achieve one small thing, you're able to say, okay, that wasn't that bad. I can actually do this. The next one, I am going to also achieve. So set your achievable goals so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And one thing that is really important as well is to strengthen your support system. I've talked about that when you start living your unscripted life, or when you start living for you instead of for others, you're going to have to say goodbye to a lot of people, because not everyone is going to agree on the way you want to live your life. Not everyone is going to agree on the way you're setting your goals. So you need to make new connections and build strong, supportive relationships with those that care about your well-being and those that really have your best interest in mind, not what you can do for them, which is their best interest. And accept help and emotional support from people who care about you. And if you don't have that in your life, I'm going to encourage you to do that. I am still in that process. I've lost a lot of people, and those people that you think are your friends and are supposed to support you, when you no longer serve them, they have no use for you. So it's hard because you're almost rebuilding your social circle, but it's not a bad thing, because now you know that those that you're seeking out will be people that have the same interests, things you can offer them and things they can offer you. It has to be mutual, my friends. It has to be mutual. And, get some therapy if you need it. Sometimes we don't have anyone to talk to just kind of pour out our hearts and pour out our feelings and talk to someone about what we're going through, because we don't have a support system. Talk to a therapist. That's what they're there for. They can help you navigate those emotions. And, they say that another thing that helps to contribute to your well-being is helping other people. When you serve others, it's no longer about you. Now, I don't mean serve others that are constantly taking from you. I'm talking about serving others and helping those that need it. It's going to give you a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. We are put on this earth to have a servant heart. When you have a servant's heart, you're there to help those that are in need. And no matter what you're going through, I can assure you there's probably someone that's worse off than you and going through something even harder. And everybody fights their battles differently, and we don't know what they're going through. So help somebody out. It can be an empowering for you and help you shift your mindset into having more resilience, because you will see how other people deal with resilience and what they've been through and how they continue to just going and going and going. So I want you to practice those things. Go to my podcast on gratitude. Go to my podcast where I talk about a mindset shift, and it will help you with your resilience as well. Gratitude, we've talked about how it changes. It changes us. It changes the way we think. It changes the way we act. Positive thinking is so important. So today, as we end, I want to encourage you to have resilience. Keep fighting. Keep finding a way out of your situation. Get help when you need it, but don't give up, my friend. You have a lot of gifts inside of you, and I want you to live out your purpose, your God-given purpose, and your God-given dreams. All right, that's it for now. We'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Unscripted Journey podcast. If today's episode lit a spark in you, keep that momentum going with the Unscripted Journey Reflection Journal. It's a guided space to help you tune in, take action, and start living life on your terms. It's available now on Amazon. Just click the link in the episode notes. And don't forget, I've got free resources waiting for you over at cynthiashone.com to support your growth between episodes. Until next time, live free, stay unscripted.